Welcome to Abode Live. I was going to say Inside Abode, but I apologize. I'm still at the house. Last week I was at the house because I was actually quarantining because I played in a tournament last weekend, and so I was quarantining both from the office and from at my house. And good news is I just got tested and I was negative for the Rona. I didn't have the Rona, but also today. Oh, but also today, I'm going to be talking about Pierce County stats. So, the Gardner Report is a report that Windermere economist Matthew Gardner comes out with every quarter, and he just came out with the Western Washington version of that. So, we'll be talking about that with AllisonOHagan this afternoon. And before we get into that, though, I'm just going to talk a little bit about where we're at with Abode. Hey, there's Allison. But we're going to talk about what's going on with the market in Pierce County. And Allison had a good post today, so I'm going to talk to Allison. I know that she loves doing that kind of stuff, so let me bring Allison in here real quick. So no, we all have things to do. I know it's like 5 o'clock, and a lot of y'all probably at dinner or you sit around, and if you hear the dogs barking in the background, don't worry about it. Hey, what's up, Allie? How you doing?
Hi.
Thank you for joining today. We're going to do a real quick one because I know you have the boys and everything's
Yep.
going crazy, and uh, the boys are probably away from wherever you're at right now, and my dogs are currently barking outside because I put them outside. So yeah, it's crazy. So like what you see on the live versus what is actually happening, it looks like something exploded in our house today, but it's all good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing all right. So, what's new with you? It's been a while since we've actually, like, you came to the office like last week, and I was just like, oh my, I hadn't seen you probably in months, and it was just kind of nice to see you.
Yeah. It's always fun when we get to see each other in the office, and I feel like it's hit or miss when you stop by who's there. It's
Yeah,
the same, unfortunately.
yeah. And you, like, I keep talking to, like, I was talking to Maya yesterday, I was talking to somebody else, and it was just like, y'all haven't even like experienced like tour or even, just having a meeting and going out and on tour. You did it like a couple times, I think in January or something. We did it a few
I was
times.
fortunate enough to have a snippet of reality when,
Yeah.
but definitely miss that. Miss walking around, looking at homes with everyone, and
Yeah,
that was a fun Tuesday activity. Good
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesdays were always fun. I always enjoyed Tuesdays. But today, well, actually, what else is new with you? What do you have you been like? I know you have the two boys at home. How's that been going with you, like as far as keeping them at home and
Been
busy?
good. Our oldest started kindergarten, so we've been doing remote school and navigating that. And then we've done a few home projects, and my husband and I are both busy with work. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, yeah. And how's like balancing work and the schooling thing? I mean, we're all kind of doing that because we were talking before we got on here, and you're like, well, the boys are da 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 da. And I was just like, well, it's kind of on brand for 2020. Like anything goes this year because like we're all in the same boat. Like I'm working from home today, and it's I'm listening to the boys in school and just kind of they're just there, and so it's different than being here with an empty house and they're off at school doing whatever, and I have like silence and I can actually work.
Yeah.
How's that been for you? Because you have little ones, and I don't understand how you do it.
I just have to find time. I work weird hours, but thankfully I can take most of my work with me. And my oldest and I have done school and work side by side at a local preschool. They have a coffee shop there, so our youngest goes to school, and then my oldest logs in, and I do work. And I think the highlight of that is, I've been more involved in his school than I think I would have been if he was in
Yeah,
person. So I try to look at that as a positive note.
yeah.
I that we do this forever, trying to find, the beauty in the hardness.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool because the funny thing. Oh, I was just coming from a Windermere VirtueCon, so they have their conference going on right now. And one thing that this speaker Phil Woke, it's spelled Gwoke, but I think they pronounce it differently. But any Wokey or something. But anyway, great speaker, and he talks about like generations, so Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen X, and millennials. and basically talking, he had them all four, so they're like four quadrants, and like the first generation baby boomers and that, tough times, and then he had Gen X, millennials, and then Gen Z in the top right next to the boomers. And so it had a tough times arc. And so actually that the new generation is what, 2000 something through 2010, I think, or he said like 93 through 2010 or something like that. And that's a tough times quadrant. And so, because he was saying what's old is new. And so if you look 80 years from the last one, it was World War II or something like that. And then, I don't know, it was just an interesting, he started from like 43 and then said like, all right, the 80 years from now, that's going to be like 2023. We're in 2020. But, this group of kids and people in general, young people, are going through a tough time, obviously, right now, along with everything else. And how is
Sure.
that going to shape their generation? And so he's just kind of like saying what's old is new and what's new is old type thing, even with generations.
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating. So anyway,
The
um,
hardships, I think, are different, but they are definitely relatable.
hmm and they didn't have technology. They didn't have IG Live to keep them busy.
Keep
Uh,
you in communication.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't. I'm sick of Zoom and screens, but it's what we have. All right, so let's talk about like what we came here to talk about, which is you posted earlier today on the Gardner Report, and I thought that that was fascinating because you like stats, and we actually have a
Hmm.
podcast on new construction. I thought we dropped that like at the beginning of this year, so it's been a while since we've been on a podcast. Um, so what did you find in the Q3 report? Like you posted something about some stats. What were some of those things that you were pointing out that you pulled out from that?
Sure. I think, I think stats are so important to know and to master because when you're directing even a seller, but in particular a buyer, for
Hmm.
them to have a better understanding on, why it's so difficult to tie down a house. But
Yeah.
looking at Q3 stats, I thought that it was really interesting that, we have 42% less inventory than we did at this time in
Mm.
2019. And we had, the home prices, this was the big one, went up 16% in Pierce County. Like that is a
Wow.
huge,
Yeah.
and a lot of that is due, we have low inventory, extremely low inventory, obviously, with the 42% decline.
Hmm.
And we have really low interest rates. So the two coupled together are just the driving force behind,
Right.
the increase in price.
Yeah. So 16%, and is that from last year? I'm trying to remember. Is that from last year or is that from this year? I'm trying
I
to
believe
look.
from last year at
Oh,
this.
okay. So
So
Q3 last year to Q3 this year,
yep.
a 16% jump in Pierce County. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, great if you are, you know, using that equity that you've built over the years to either fuel other purchases or do some renovation projects and you want to tap into that equity. That's great for you.
Yeah.
So great for a first time home buyer that didn't purchase last year and is now in the heat of things this year.
Hmm.
But that being said, it's not impossible. It just, you have to prepare your expectations as a buyer and you really need to have everything ready to go, be pre approved and be willing to put offers on multiple properties.
Hmm. You also had a good post about, so the opposite side of that is the rates. And so like I remember you had a post, it was like last week or something about the buying power and what that looked like with the rates and how much you can buy. And it was a graph. I thought that was a really good one too, because to
Yep,
offset the prices like
exactly.
rising, we have to
You're
have low interest rates.
essentially a little bit less or equal to, even though
Hmm.
home prices have gone up, interest rates have gone down, and those have balanced each other out on, your estimated monthly payment.
Hmm. Yeah, so I thought that that was an interesting way to spin it and look at that because we focus a lot on the prices.
Hmm.
Um, it, obviously, there's an affordability issue that's already here and not looming, it's already here. And then you have issues with lending and people getting, even getting approved for loans in general.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of data on that.
I haven't finished it yet. It's like on a spreadsheet somewhere sitting around. You know how I like to just do stuff and then
Hmm.
yeah. But anyway, I will finish that before the year's over though, because it's really good. It like breaks down VA loans, conventional loans,
Yeah,
by race, who's been approved in Pierce County. Actually, yeah, Pierce County and actually Tacoma Lakewood area specifically. Like it's broken down. And
that'll be
so
intriguing to see.
yeah, it's really good info. It's actually a public website. That information is available to all of us, but it's looks like it's the website was built in like 1980 and it's terrible. Like it's hard. Like who's gonna? It needs to be on a slicer, like the info stat, like info sparks or something. You know,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it'd
Well,
be
and for
nice.
to where people could analyze that pretty quickly.
Yeah, because I've called for that. I was like, we need more lending data. Like, but it's there, but it's just like, all right, so I got to download this spreadsheet. Like, who's gonna do that? Like, only and it's already hard to read for me. So imagine anyone else. Like, anyway, that's a tangent. So, what else did you get from that Q3 Gardner report? Did you pull anything else out of there?
Well, I mean, there's so many good snippets, but I think just, if you're a buyer right now, you could potentially get in a home that might be a little bit more expensive, but you're essentially paying the same that you would in 2019. I think that not, this wasn't specifically on the Gardner report, but our median sales price in Pierce County, um, I believe this last month was at 429, which is crazy.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
but
a $500,000. Like, that's just, come on now. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, keep going.
yeah, I think more than anything, it's just for both sides, sellers and buyers, it's so important to prepare. Sellers, yes, your home's going to sell, um, but you could be leaving a lot of money on the table if you don't prepare
Hmm.
properly.
Yep.
And buyers, if you don't have your ducks in a row, if don't have your pre-approval letter or, um, you know, and you try to submit an offer, you're just not going to have the strength behind your offer without that. Um, Properties are seeing multiple offers, and so it's just so important to be connected to a good agent, a good real estate agent, a good lender. I can't stress enough to have a really good team behind you
Yeah.
to help you get your foot in the door to home.
You can just say you. You don't have to just say, you can just say a good agent. You can just say
I'm not
you.
the only good agent. Help.
Um, so that's good info on the on that side of things. We were talking a little bit about the new construction piece and
Yeah.
some other things that you were, some correlations you were making to the data that we were seeing. What were some of those things that you were talking about? And can you show us? Are they out there? Like, can you show the people like what y'all working on over there?
Oh, geez. Our house is a disaster, but I will show you at the end. I just think it was really interesting. If things continue as is, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I do want to be realistic. Like if things continue and we have a low inventory, prices are going to rise. And so
Hmm.
the way to combat that is more homes. We have a need for more homes. People want to be in a home, and the only way to combat that is for some new construction to happen. But it's
Hmm.
hard to have new construction at an affordable rate. And we
Hmm.
experienced that, just this last weekend. We, along with everyone, I think, in COVID, have been evaluating our space and how we can use it better. And we finally decided that we would take this attached shed that we
Hmm.
didn't have access to. You had to go around the back of the house to get to it. And our pantry went into it. So we decided that we were going to kick the pantry out and stud out that room. We'll eventually insulate it and drywall it and use it. But in the process, we went to the lumber yard, Gray's Lumber on 6th Ave, and it's really interesting because lumber costs have gone up so much.
Hmm.
And they also have low inventory on lumber. Everyone has
Right.
a need for homes, a need for lumber, but then we have low inventory on both sides. So those coupled together, I think, are making new construction even more difficult. And then
Right.
just COVID in general, working in close proximity. Um, I know when this all started, a lot of new construction just halted.
Hmm.
And I think that we're seeing more of that, but not at the pace that we need to up inventory.
I have some numbers for you.
Okay.
So, so yeah, when you talked about halting, So the months of inventory in April of this year was 4.2 for new construction.
Yep.
And now in September 20th, it was 1.2.
Yeah.
That's just like a
No.
complete wow. And then like year over year, September 19 was 3.8 and September 20 is 1.2. Excuse me. So months of inventory is down 68% for new construction. That's just crazy. So it's funny that you mentioned that, and I went and looked at some stuff, and I'm just going, wow, that's okay. And then for sale, this one's interesting. So for sale, the amount of new construction homes for sale in 2009, or I'm sorry, September of 19 was 472. September 20 is 219. That's a 53% drop. So that's on par with like when we were talking, you just mentioned like 47%, I think, or something like that. 42% decrease in new listings or active homes to purchase. And so that's kind of across the board if we're looking at the 47 to 60% range of like less inventory, which is just, yeah, from an already constrained market. Like it's not like 3.8 is like actually balanced. That's not,
Nope.
you know, that's kind of, anyway, I don't know.
But it's all about preparing yourself, you know. If you are coming into this as a new buyer or, you know, a buyer that's upgrading your home, you just have to prepare your expectations. It can happen, but it might not be your first home that you put an offer on. It might not be the fifth home you put an offer on, right? And so it's just, you have to be realistic. And I think that's like, as an agent, it's hard to tell somebody that until they've gone through it and then they understand.
Right.
But having those numbers to back us makes a big difference.
Yeah, you don't want to like crush people's dreams, you know, like they go out into the market like, yep, we're about to get this house, we're ready. And then they go out there.
It really can.
Yeah, they can. I mean, I agree, they can. It's just gonna be, it might not be that first try. Maybe it might be the first try. I don't know. It depends on the financial situation.
True.
But yeah, but it does take a nice, you know, a skilled realtor to help them with that process, right? That knows their stuff. Named AllisonOHagan. Yeah, so show us, like, can you show us around, like, with what's going on at the O'Hagan household? We haven't seen it in a long time.
Can I flip my camera around? I'll turn on some lights. You might see some crazy kids too.
Oh, don't worry. We love the kids. Like, those are my favorite kids on your story. Like, those are my favorite kids to watch. That is just, they're so funny.
This door right here used to be our pantry. And I was showing you this. So we didn't know this until we had purchased the home, but we ended up blowing through. You can see where the pantry floor ends. So we blew through that wall and then added stairs down. It's a pretty small space, and so we'll probably just use it as an exercise room or a flex space for the kids.
Yeah.
But you can see our houses and our backyard and everything's in shambles. But I think the cool part about this was just having the realization with the lumber costs.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had told you, but my dad is you're under the house. My dad's a contractor in California, and he was just like in shock of the lumber costs. And he's like, you live in the hub where lumber's made, and even for you to have a shortage on lumber, the cost bumped up. It just goes to show that, you know, this is where we're at.
It's just where we're at, man. Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm glad y'all are doing that. That's gonna be fun when that gets done. What are y'all trying to like finish it like ASAP and sheetrock and do all that, or?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, but we've been budgeting for it, and so we're doing it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
My dad obviously came to help us do part of it, and so we're going to insulate it, and then I've gotten a couple bids for drywall. So it won't be complete probably till early next year. Fully complete. And there's some areas like the stairs, we still don't know exactly what we're going to do. Those are temporary stairs to give us a feel for this space, but
you might as well tack on like another month to that whole process. Any remodel, you might as well tack on. Yeah, I agree, Tracy. Great use of space. Tracy Gill said It's a great use of space, and I agree.
Thanks. It was fun. We had been talking about it for almost a year, and I think COVID just kicked us into doing it.
Hmm.
Along with a lot of people, you just reevaluate your home, where you live.
Oh yeah, Ann was talking about getting a hot tub. I was like, oh, she said, "How's my kitchen?" I really don't know if y'all want to look at the kitchen, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of it's not in the best shape it's ever been in ever, but here it is. So there
look.
is the kitchen. So my favorite part is the lights
Mhm.
and that's definitely Ann's doing the lights, the accent lights there. This was actually a really big deal, the vent or the hood. This is all Ann's stuff. Like I just veto ideas and stuff. So anyway, yeah. And then these are all custom cabinets all the way around there. That was a kind of a thing. And actually, fun fact, Ann actually, um, she did these all herself. She put these handles in here all herself throughout the whole
I
thing.
love it.
And yeah, so anyway, that's the kitchen. This is the, I've never had an actual oven that bakes things and keeps the same temperature. Like, I don't know. You know what else? I've never had a water dispenser in a refrigerator before.
That us too. When we bought this house, we added that, and for the ice maker mainly.
Yeah,
I had never had an ice maker in a house that we had owned, and it's so convenient.
I know. Oh, so that's like just the kitchen, but I'll show you like what actually, sorry for the mess, but so this actually was a wall, so you can see the beam. We have to stain that beam right up there. So that wall actually went right there and then came here. So you really couldn't even see this. That used to just be a wall, and that's where the fridge was. The fridge is right there. And so we just wanted to
Looks
open it
so
up
good.
so you can see everything. So yeah, and it was like a little doorway right here, and all you could see when you're standing in the kitchen was through the doorway into the dining room. That's it. So
It looks so good.
yeah, thanks,
Nice
Tracy.
to have
Good.
a sink, right?
Oh yeah, we started quarantine with no sink, no floor, no dishwasher,
No countertops.
no countertops. Yeah. So when that all was happening, like when we were closing the office and things were all crazy, like we did not have a kitchen. It was a very, very, very interesting
That's
time in the
rough.
Jones household. Like we were taking dishes from upstairs down to the basement, basically where I'm standing right now. You have to go all the way downstairs and then walk all the way back to the same place where you're at, and that's where the dishes were in a small little sink.
But it was worth it.
Yeah, I felt like we were living in a log cabin. You know,
Yeah,
those old like Oregon Trail. Did you ever used to have to do Oregon Trail back in the day? That's what
definitely.
that's what it felt like. I felt like we were living in the Oregon Trail. But all right. Well, I know you have to get to your family, and Riley's probably asking like,
To use power tools.
that's good. Well, I appreciate you jumping on and joining and sharing some data with us and everything else. And yeah, this is your first live, so there you go.
And thanks for having me.
All right. No, thanks for coming on. I'll see you around. And oh, where can people find you and where can people get in touch with you if they want to know more?
Yep, you can find me on the Windermere website. You can find me on Instagram, and you can call me.
Yep.
So
Cool. Sounds good. And you'll be linked in the comments and yeah, you'll be able to watch us on IGTV whenever you want.
perfect. Thanks,
All right.
Steve.
See you. Thanks,
Bye.
Allie. Bye. All right, y'all. So that was AllisonOHagan. She's one of the brokers here at Windermere Abode, and I appreciate you joining in, or even if you're just watching on IGTV, thank you. We will be back next week, next Tuesday. We had to kind of push this one back a little bit because usually we go early afternoon. She was, she got the little boys and stuff, and I had some stuff. Like Windermere VirtureCon's going on. It's just a busy, busy day. So we wanted to make sure that we fit it in, though, because I think that's important to get that information. So till next time, y'all. Peace.